Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Eddie Marcus here again. It's crazy, man. I've been working hard today doing simple stuff, just raking leaves and trying to bag those jokers up, trying to keep busy. It was kind of simple while I was doing it because my mind was on you. My mind was on how can I live a better life. I use that to connect with the rest of the people who need and want to live a better life. And the troubling is that it's important because they are better lives. And it seems to be such a complicated matter to happen. And it just doesn't make sense to me. You can make I understand they're making cars now that can fly. I hear you're making bridges that go from one continent to another, across the sea with cement. I hear all kinds of things can happen. But when you talk about bringing some peace between people, it just seems to be an impossibility. We spend so much time talking about things that happen. You know, I think about people who have had the ability to reach out to other folks and get their attention. I think about your president, your Donald Trump president, and just think about what he could have done for this country rather than knowing what he did do in what it seems to be an attempt to bring this baby down. And I was just thinking how obvious he has made it that he really doesn't have any special compassion or care for blacks, and especially those who are up in positions of power today as DEI. Would you know that Trump is a DEI president? I mean, would you know that? You'd probably argue if someone tried to share that with you. But, ladies and gentlemen, there is no doubt that America is sinking. It just, nothing that you could do, it seems, that could take it any lower, any faster than what is happening. But I would like to tell you something about the difference between white people and black people. Now, let me do it this way. In America, you got conservative perspectives and you got liberal. A lot of times they are totally against one another. And yet it's desired by each individually. How to do it is the problem. And we as a nation have come up with this democracy. Say we're trying to weigh the pros and the cons and find a balance and compromise. And I was just thinking, what is compromise? Compromise says that, well, I can't get everything I want. And in order for me to get some, and some is available, I'm going to have to let a certain amount go. And I can get a lot of it. And I can get next time. And that seems to make a lot of sense, doesn't it? It makes sense because basically in a system like we live in, the things that we've been taught all of our lives, we wouldn't make no other. But that I had a commercial. I heard this lady, a Chinese lady, she said she's an immigrant, legal. She came here, it took her 6 years before she got legal to get here. And her brother is in China and he's waiting. And he's been waiting for 13 years. And so for her to see immigrants, illegal immigrants, come over all across the border, and then in many cases get certified to be here ahead of those people who've been waiting legally forever, it seems. And yet, in many instances, some of them will come and commit crimes. They haven't been certified. They're not ready. They're not saying, America, I'm with you. They're coming here even before they get certified. They're jumping and robbing America. And to that woman, she says she thinks they should go straight to jail. Straight to jail. Not just put out of the country, but straight to jail because what they did, they jumped ahead of the game. They did what they did, violated the rules, and they should really pay for it as a symbol to the folks who haven't come this far yet, who haven't broken and given this kind of conduct their way at this point. Now I know everybody who's been to school, you didn't even have to been to school, but just think about that, and it makes all kind of sense that you think that's the way it's supposed to be. I mean, it wouldn't be that way in Russia. It wouldn't be that way in other places of the world, but in the United States, based upon democracy and all that other kind of stuff that we've been taught, that is the way it's supposed to be. And not just that. When you go to the King James Version, that's the way it's supposed to be. Anybody disagree? Well, you see, I guess everything got its problems. Everything got its problems. Somebody say, I tell you the truth. Somebody else tell you a stupid thing that when in comparison it's a straight up lie. But they both claim, each one claims that they are both true. And if you don't really know, you caught in a mess. But that's what you have to deal with in life every day. Except there's a way that you could diffuse that. There's a way you could change that by making sure that you're not just trying to satisfy yourself. That's selfishness. And making sure that you're not just trying to satisfy the other. That doesn't make sense. So rather than trying to compromise, why not do the right thing? For instance, to make a long story short, because I could go into it, but I know right now just what I've said, I've confused you. But I want to say it to you this way. Maybe I can unwind it and you can see it clear. You know how the society is right here in America, right? Nah, you don't know about the rest of the world. You don't know what's going on in Russia. You heard somebody say something, they popular line. You hear about China, you probably been lied to. You hear about every place else. You've been lied to. In one way, you know you've been lied to because they tell you this is the greatest country on earth. And you know that's a lie. You don't even have health care for many people. Many of your people can't even go to college. Nah, many of your people, I mean, so how great are you and why are you great? Oh, you say your greatness is not based upon what you're able to do. Your greatness is based upon the fact that if you were Lily White, come on now, that's just stupid. I just threw that in there so you could see how stupid that would sound for those of you who are thinking that. But the truth of the matter is, there's one way, always one way. Human beings are made up of the same stuff. All of us are made up of the same stuff. Our DNA stuff might be, I don't know. I'm not going to try to get in and explain that. But you got a nose and I got a nose. You know that. So the power that created us made that for a reason. So both of us could breathe and we keep on living. And all that other stuff, if any of us want it, desire it, it means something too. Then it was made to have that effect. And if another wanted it different and didn't bother him what you had, great. But as long as you're both satisfied, that's how it was made. So when I say you, I look at you like me. I know you want peace because I want peace. I think you want to be prosperous because I want to be prosperous. I think you want to be free because I want to be free. I think you want to have happiness and joy in your life because I do as well. But most of all, I want to live my dreams, and I think you do too. I want to have my needs, my wants, and my desires met, and I think you do as well. But how can we do that with the resources that God has put on this earth that don't belong to us? on an earth that don't belong to us, but allows us to live here and access those resources for the benefits for what we use them for. How can we do that? The way we do it is we all work together. We all work together to have that outcome. We all choose the kind of career that we want to play in participating in this process. We find a career that gives us our greatest joy. And in giving us our greatest joy, we got no problem in doing it. We have no problem in committing it. We have no problem in making sure that our job and responsibility is taken care of. Why? Because we get joy out of it. It is our greatest love. And as we are doing that, the magnificent power that made the earth and the resources have connected it together. So what we are doing, we're actually creating our own heaven and didn't even know it. But we are doing it. Now, to me, that sounds so much better than anything I ever heard. But you can't do that if you're thinking you're special and somebody else isn't. You got to face the truth, ladies and gentlemen. We are all human beings made to live or die, and the choice is in our hands. Well, I had made some notes here. I was going to talk about something, and yet something else came across my mind. So all of a sudden, it makes it seem that the things that I had written down to talk about must not have been that important since something else came and hijacked it. So, did I conclude that thing? Yeah, let me go back to this little lady in case I left a little question mark there. The Chinese woman whose brother waiting 13 years and hasn't been able to get here certified yet. And she just says, if you come here and commit crimes and you haven't been certified, you need to go to jail and then get sent home. And is that right? Well, we already said that. We just said, based upon the systems and how we understand things to be, yes, it's right. But if we want it to be better than that, and see, the idea is to be better than that. The best way would to make sure that everybody can be satisfied at home. But if they want to go any place on the globe, they can go and are welcomed. Lord have mercy. Well, that's my thinking. I don't know if anybody else thinks this way. Perhaps not. That's why I'm known as a fool to many. But until the next time, ladies and gentlemen, let me see. Should I close this out now? Yeah, I think I should. I'm going to let it go for now, ladies and gentlemen. And until the next time, I'm going to say goodbye for now.